Moral unanimity, impossible. Since absolute liberty is the primal claim of life, cooperation can never be pervasive. We must presuppose pure spontaneity in the persons that cooperate, otherwise there would be no genuine interest to reconcile, no sacrifices to impose, and no possible happiness to secure. On the other hand, beyond the range of cooperation we must leave a margin, if only as a safety valve, for the waywardness of individuals. It is one of the anomalies of the English mind that while in moral sentiment it makes this margin very narrow, especially among strict liberals. In political theory, it leaves it immense, for in the doctrine of liberalism, which is an English product, only the province of the police, that is, safety of the person and property, stands subject to control and imposes a duty to collaborate, while in everything intellectual or ideal, each man should bravely paddle his own canoe. But nature does not allow this sort of division of labor, because in the actual order of things, what is ideal and intellectual is but the free life and expression of what is material. If you organize a state and industry, say on the immutable basis of universal competition, free trade, and the right to inheritance, with compulsory state education, monogamy, severe laws against libel and slander, and a science in which all men share, accepting one another's discoveries, then it would be perfectly idle for you to leave thought and love and religion free. A bird in a cage is free in the same way to flap its wings. If you establish monogamy, you impose a special ideal of normal love. If you set up an official education, you create an official mentality and morality. If you sanctify private property, you impose a corresponding set of virtues, distinctions, ambitions, and rancors. It is a material social bondage that enslaves the mind, which cannot be otherwise enslaved, and freedom of mind depends on freedom to rearrange material conditions so that, living under them, the mind may flourish effectually. It is only in reference to this basis, matter, and its arrangement, that moral diversities become social conflicts and engage the passions. It is by impinging on matter that thoughts meet. In the realm of pure conception, they are all idle and all compatible. Nothing could be more sapless than an idea that does not express a particular physical order and does not demand one. It would be like a language that nobody had spoken or was expected to speak. Liberty to frame such a language in the closet is not the liberty which a poet or a saint demands. He demands a world in which the language of his heart shall always be spoken. The political order that a radical liberalism would establish is therefore a domination, not a rational order. Any perfect social order would be excluded by it, for it demands acquiescence in the will of the majority and in the ways of the average man. The liberty that it would leave to the private mind would be a derisive liberty, for we should be invited to make our own way through the uncharted spaces of vacant possibility. Yet in reality, unless we participate in some specific human enterprise, we shall be simply drinking the winds. To drink alone and to talk when nobody listens is a doubtful privilege. Liberal society is therefore compelled to form all manner of voluntary private societies to replenish the human vacuity of its political life. But these private societies, being without power or material roots, remain ghostly and artificial. Private busybodies cannot fill the void in the heart of the political animal, hungry for friendship, for action, for distinction, for perilous adventures, and for rare accomplishments to be achieved in common. It may be urged on the rationalist side that all society ought to be voluntary and simply a concourse of such private associations as individuals enter into of their own accord and for their own benefit. But this is an illusion, a myth bred in political discussion on the false analogy of commercial agreements, where each man pursues his own advantage, measured in terms of a common denominator, money frankly valued by all. But no natural or liberal society is of this kind, neither the family, nor the state, nor the church, nor any company of friends, sportsmen, soldiers, or bandits, and the justification of any society exercising coercion on persons born and bred in its territory, as does the government of any nation or country, rests precisely on the necessity of such government, which softens and controls the fatal pressure that, in any case, nature and savage man would have exercised on the individual. Society rises by natural instinct, occasion, and habit. It may be, in turn, a saving aid in a cruel domination, and the rational criticism and reform of it undertaken by liberals may correct some of its evils, but cannot replace the sufficient causes and foundations. Insofar as any such criticism exercises a physical suasion and modifies society, it is in itself a source of good and evil in probably unexpected directions. But expectation of these effects, if it existed, would be a fresh political insight and judgment, not a part of the truth or error of the criticism itself. A man cannot serve two masters. If at bottom we respect only the organized core of society and of the mind, we shall despise the idle play of individual fancy around it, and call it a waste of energy, dissipation, and fireworks. We shall also regard as selfish and demoralizing any disposition to live one's own life, absorbed in interests which the public cannot share. If, on the contrary, we truly love only play of mind and the liberal arts, we shall regard as a necessary evil this hard nucleus of material being and human convention around which we are condemned to gyrate. We shall constantly ask ourselves whether so much matter, so much labor, so much organization, interference, morality, and monstrous official dullness are really necessary. In lighter armor and in fresher air, we might be more alive while we lived, and perhaps even live longer. The various combinations of these rival virtues that arise amongst living creatures may trouble the vanity or the conscience of each, if each conceives that his own aspirations should be those of all other men, and that nature should be favorable to no other demands. But nature is equally the source of all demands and of all aspirations, and it is only the blind exuberance of nature that renders living beings quarrelsome, and all, in some measure, unfortunate. Yet, in this irritating way, nature does bring to light a great variety of beauties, many of them lasting or perpetually renewed for long stretches of time. There is room, there is peace, there is opportunity, here for one type of life, and there for another type. And so political ideals have their innings, none of them perfectly realized. For when perfection is too quickly and absolutely demanded, there can only be a brilliant flare and a quick collapse. If anywhere a deliberate choice is seriously intended to be permanent, that choice should not be arbitrary. It should express an innate moral character in the people and a dispassionate perception of the circumstances. Nations, as well as individuals, must be satisfied with their special virtues, for they will never have any. It is enough honor to be a good thing of one kind in a living but inconstant world, where no good thing can flourish out of place or out of season. In practical politics, momentary unanimity can be secured on particular points at a mass meeting or in a well-disciplined party, but there will be no unanimity in the execution of the measure adopted or in judgments passed on it afterwards, and there will be little rational continuity in any series of measures secured by such means. Morally, therefore, there is as great and as chaotic a flightiness in a life newly single-minded at each moment as in a mind always divided against itself. For those mutually irrelevant, unanimous moments will neither share nor realize one another's will.